Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of my live tea tasting. I've got an exciting blend for you guys today, and I am thoroughly excited because I also have a really big announcement to talk about at the end of the show. So stay tuned, and I will I'll be happy to make this announcement all in due time. But for today's blend, we have something a little bit different. This is actually something that I got directly from the farm. So today's tea is going to be Shakomato Premium Black CTC, and let me tell you, this thing smells incredible. Now the Shakomato farm is based in northern Assam, and they have acres and acres of land there. Hey Andre, welcome. They have acres and acres, like it's a huge farm, and let me tell you that they produce some good tea. Because I've been smelling this once this whole thing started, and I was excited. But let's take a look at this today. Check out this liqueur. Now this is a really super dark. The camera does not do it justice, because I can see this really rich red color. And it looks, from this end at least, it looks kind of, you can see through it, it's pretty clear. Problem is, it's not picking up really well on the camera because there's a lot of reflection. So like you can barely see through it, but on my end it's really clear. So in this case, you'll have to take my word for it. Oh man, but this smells really, really smooth and earthy. Oh, that is really nice. It's got a really rich, it's not too heavy of a smell. It's pretty earthy. It's hey Pops, welcome. I'm getting my for once I'm getting my messages on the screen. I'm grateful for that. But yeah, so as I was saying, it's very earthy, very mellow, very smooth. Now I have had a glass before. I've tasted this, and let me tell you, I was really impressed. So I went ahead and arranged to get this thrown into the rotation, so I can give this a really nice review and share it with you guys, because this is some high quality stuff. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and take my first sip. Ooh, that is nice. Hey, Snea, welcome. It has a very rich flavor. It's very earthy, very smooth. And there is a bit of astringency, which is something to be expected from a CTC. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, CTC stands for cut, tear, curl, and that refers to the processing of the tea itself. So when we take a look at the tea, let me take a few of these. When we take a look at the tea, you're going to notice it's all in pellet form. There's no long leaf. There's no, you can see this drop. There's no two leaf and a bud. Everything is dried, and when it's processed, it usually goes through a machine that curls it really, really hard and breaks it up as it goes. So you wind up with small pellets rather than full leaf or even half leaves. And then those pellets are dropped through the filter and collected and distributed at the end of the whole process. Now, this blend is really, the first time I tried it, it was very, very wholesome. It was bold. It was pretty powerful. And again, this time around, I'm not disappointed. It still has that same kind of flavor. It's very, very strong. And it's got that, what is it, the astringency that's very that's expected from a CTC. Now, because let me step back a little bit. CTC offers that kind of flavor profile because of the size and the shape of the leaf. So, as you guys know, if a leaf is bigger and it's not as folded, or it's not as what's the word I'm looking for? Like, if it's not as compact as like a CTC or an oolong, like a Taiwanese oolong, it can't take as much punishment when you steep it. So this was steeped at 212 degrees for 5 minutes, and it has that rich, bold flavor. But since this has not only smaller pieces, but it's also tiny and folded and pelleted, and it's very compact, it holds a whole lot more flavor in each one, and it's easier to come out and just pop, basically. So you're getting a really rich, bold flavor from a super dark tea, or for a super black tea, I should say, because dark is its own category. But because of that, you take a look. It's just that little. You can't even call it powder because it's not as small of a grain. That's why I call it pellets, because you can actually feel each individual grain in your fingertips. So if you hold 2, you can count 2, and so on. Now, normally this is served with milk and sugar, and it's one of those breakfast tea kind of teas that really kicks you in the morning and gives you that nice caffeine burst. So it's the kind of tea that you would want to drink first thing in the morning to wake you up. I would definitely recommend that you drink this if you have a low sensitivity to astringency. A high sensitivity to astringency. You'll want to put a little bit of sugar and a little bit of milk to break it up, because that's how it's done normally. Traditionally you add the milk and sugar, but knowing me, this is just what I do. I always drink it as is to get the full experience. And let me tell you, this is like really, really. It's kind of like bursting a little bit with that intensity, with that earthy, tannic kind of flavoring to it. Oh, that is really nice. Now, I have a higher tolerance for astringency, so it's cooling down a little bit. So I'm getting a slight elevation in the astringency, and I get the feeling like if I were to let this cool off all the way, by the end of it, it'll be pretty astringent to the point where it can get a little dry and a little bit bitter. Some people like it that way. Like that's all good for them. Me, I have a bit of a limit. Like, once it gets to that point where it's super astringent, I tend to just pass, or I put a lot of cream and sugar in it, or milk, just to help tolerate it a little bit more. So I believe this may have the potential to get to that point. When I tasted it the first time, it wasn't as astringent. I don't know if I did anything different this time by mistake. I shouldn't have, but it is what it is. So I'm getting that whole flavor right here in the back of my throat. It's still maintaining that smokiness, that earthiness that I enjoy, but it's sitting on your tongue, and it's a slow burning tea. I'm starting to get a little sweaty. This is a little hot. I'm going to open up door real quick. I need a breeze. This is like, it's a little bit hot in here. But yeah, anyway, so it's got that really nice this really nice bold flavoring. That's the astringency is not overpowering quite yet, but it can get there. I have a feeling that this particular bag I opened does have that potential. And it's got like little notes of like dark chocolate, which I'm really starting to enjoy. You know that thickness, that mouthfeel that dark chocolate has, it just kind of sits there and melts in your mouth. And that's what I'm kind of getting here. That same thickness that just kind of like ruminates around your palate as you go on. I'm getting the feeling like I'm going to have to put some milk into this, just because like it's a little bit difficult for me to speak sometimes. I'm still tasting the astringency, and usually it's good to have that kind of an ongoing flavor, that slow burn on your tongue as it goes through. I'm kind of debating when I should do the Thomas taste, because I know that if I wait too long, it'll probably get a little bit hyper astringent, and it'll be hard for me to concentrate at that point. But you know, it's not like it's a bad thing; it's just a different thing. You know what? I'll just go ahead and do the Thomas taste now, and see where this takes me. Okay. So right now it's just sitting on my tongue. And it's ruminating around. I'm getting like these, do the Thomas taste twice? You mean to compare now with later, I assume? I mean, I just did one, so I can do another one later on, if that's what you're asking, just to compare how it develops in a... okay, yeah. I could do that. Right now it's 8:12, so let's let a few minutes pass. But as I was saying, the flavor profile in here is pretty dark, pretty earthy, and it's got that same kind of taste that you'd expect from like an English breakfast, or actually closer to a Scottish breakfast. There are notes of like peach and rock fruit. And like I said, that dark chocolate that has that light bitterness at the end of it, that's what I'm getting from this. Oh, I'm thinking maybe opening the door was not a good idea, because now I'm smelling barbecue. Yeah, that that might throw off my taste buds a little bit. Yeah, well, that's an annoyance. Who's barbecuing at this hour? But anyway... yeah, they're probably having a cookout to celebrate the passing of summer into fall, which is something that I'm going to be mourning summer, because I miss it already. Okay, now it's starting to even off a little bit. Like, it's not getting more astringent. It's kind of just settling on my palate and... allowing itself to really show the boldness off. Was this, how would I blend this tea? I mean, you can blend it the same way you blend any tea, unless you're talking about what ingredients would I add to it. In which case, it would probably go very well if I was to do an Irish breakfast or a Scottish breakfast. I would probably add like you would usually do it, like you'd add a Ceylon, not so much Darjeeling. I would go the Scottish breakfast route, but if you want to like really pizzazz it, I would put in stuff like strawberry or pineapple, something that's like uber sweet that will affect the overall flavor. Maybe add some powdered milk. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, my sinuses are starting to drain. I hate when that happens on camera. Maybe add some vanilla to it. That would probably do some really good. Actually, like ground up vanilla beans would sweeten that up a little bit. What else? I wouldn't put too many flowers in there because this is a very strong blend, and it would overpower the flowers very easily. So I'm not even going to look at that. Maybe some cinnamon. Ooh, you know what? This would actually go very well as a chai. Meaning I'll put in like the masala seasonings, which is cardamom, black pepper, ginger, saffron, cinnamon, cloves. I actually already did this just a couple days ago, and it really came out nice. As my wife would tell you, I make the best milk tea in the world, and this made an excellent base for it. It was really, really bold, and it stood up to the milk very well. And once I had that nice combination going, I was able to just put all the other stuff in it, and it came out excellent. So I was very satisfied with the outcome of that. So if that's what you're talking about with what I would do to blend it. Yes, my milk tea is good. Oh yeah, I toot my own horn at that, you know. I am not, what's the word? I am not humble when it comes to bragging about my tea. But that being said, this blend really holds up well in milk. So it came out very, very delicious. All right, it is 8:17, so about 5 minutes has passed. I'll do another Thomas taste just to see if there's any comparison. Let's go. Okay. So the astringency level has leveled off, and either my tolerance has gotten better or overall it's gotten less astringent, which never really happens. So I'm just going to go with the former and say that my tolerance has adapted because I'm not really tasting the astringency as intensely as I had earlier, and it's pulling out more of the rock fruit, which is something I thoroughly enjoy. I love having like a little bit of peach note or apple note in my CTC because it adds another dimension to what it is that you're looking for in a blend. Let me see. Now, there's something interesting that I'm finding here. The actual dry tea, it smells really more milky. Hey, Mandy, welcome. It smells really sweet. And it has a bit of a silky scent to it overall. And then this is the after steep. You'll see there's not a huge difference in size during the after steep. It still has that same kind of texture to it, except it is softer and slightly bigger. Not enough to make a huge difference visually, but enough where you can see that it has expanded a bit. And that's what you'll see in CTC, because like I said, it's not powdered, but it's pelleted, so it still has room to release flavor from the leaf. Now, the interesting thing that I found between the dry and the wet has a little bit of a seawater kind of scent to it. It has like a little saltiness. Hello, what is it? Valves BTW. Welcome to my Twitch chat. Thanks for joining in. Sorry, I didn't even see that that message right there. But yeah, it's the first time. Welcome to the Tea Chat. So I'm getting like a nice, refreshing sea breeze kind of scent to it. That is really nice. It's kind of like sitting on the beach. I've never noticed that from a CTC before. Usually I would get that from like a Japanese green tea that's closer to the water, absorbs that salt water, so you get that flavor profile from a Japanese green. But this is unexpected. It's actually pretty nice. I just keep going back because I'm like, is that my imagination? It's apparently not. It's actually there. Okay, I'm going to open up the floor again. Questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, now's the time. We are getting closer to my big announcement, so stay tuned. I'm almost there. And I appreciate you guys staying this long for it so far. Anyway, so I'm going to open up the questions with my sister's question. What would I pair this with? Being that it is quite bold, I would back it up with something sweet. So I would go with like a chocolate cake, chocolate anything really. It'll give it that sweetness, plus it matches that bold, dark chocolate flavoring from it. That would complement it pretty well. If I were to use like an entree, I would have to go heavy profile on that too. Oh, excuse me. So I would have to say maybe. I usually say steak when it comes to black teas. That always rings true. It rings true for this, but I want to expand it a little bit. What else would I? Maybe a roast, a nice roast, or a what's that cut? Broiled something. Brisket. That's the word. I would love to get that. Get a nice brisket with this and just cut it up thin. Ooh, that sounds like it's really good. Something to keep it smoky. And I know that's kind of cheating, saying that I want to stay away from steak, but then I go with the brisket. But why not? It does complement it very well. So there's no way around it. Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, I'll just go ahead and make my announcement then. So I have been teasing something from you guys for quite some time. It's been, I want to say, over a year. I'm probably not that far off if it's under. But yeah, I've been working on something for quite some time, and it is finally coming to pass. So I took the time and the effort, and I wrote a book. So it's going to be released in about 2 weeks. I will be making my debut at New York Comic-Con, so if you're in the area, I highly recommend that you guys stop by the Greg Horn booth and check it out. It will be signed by me, and you can have the option to have Greg Horn sign it as well, who wrote the foreword for it. And we are really, really excited to present it to you guys. Thank you. So the title of the book is quite a mouthful. It's called The Ballad of Eddie and Edie and Other Pointless, Nonsensical Meanderings of a Semi-Demented Weirdo. That is quite the mouthful. And it's just a collection of silly poems that I wrote. It will be coming out. I'm going to be selling this so that I can get a little bit of capital to get my tea business going, which is going to be a whole other eventual. Hey, Martin, welcome. Oh, I absolutely am a weirdo. There is no shame in that. But yeah, so the book is going to be released, and I will be making my debut at New York Comic Con. I'll be doing my best to sell this, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's gonna. Oh, and speaking of New York Comic Con, Martin's going to be there too. I don't know what booth you're going to be at, so if you're still there, Martin, put in your booth number. I know that you're doing it with Captured Collectibles, so yeah, I'm definitely going to hunt you down because I didn't get to see you since last year, so I'm going to have to hunt you down and say hello. What else is I think? Is there anything else? I know I'm forgetting something. Anyway, yeah. So the book is making the premiere at New York Comic Con, booth 3636. Oh, that's a really good number. I'm sure that's like a lotto number or a lucky number. Hey Zam, welcome. And if anybody knows anything about numerology, let me know if that's a lucky number. It sounds like a lucky number to me. But yeah, so the book contains 20 poems with art by different artists, including Jin Leonard, Joe Doyle, Vanessa Bueno, and I'm trying to remember if there's anybody else. I did say Jin Leonard and Joe Doyle. I gotta memorize these the list. But if I forgot your name, I'm sorry. It's just I'm juggling a bunch of things mentally right now. Anyway. So yeah, that's my big announcement. And once New York Comic Con is over, I will be selling the book online, doing a Kickstarter, and all the proceeds will go to fund the opening of my tea business, and hopefully that'll be a wonderful thing. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. This has been a wonderful experience. I will be tagging the link in the description, so stay tuned, and I'll go ahead and update it later. So until next time, have a great night, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye!